Welcome to the Legal CFO.
Welcome to the show where clarity meets profitability. This is the Legal CFO with Ryan Kimler, the founder of Net Profit CFO. If you're a law firm owner looking to get a handle on your finances or grow your bottom line, finally take control of your numbers, you're in the right place. Each episode, Ryan breaks down the business side of law and with straightforward strategies to help your firm run smarter, earn more, and scale with confidence. My name is Kevin Rosenquist. Today, we're going to talk about financial forecasting for law firms. Ryan's going to talk about how to plan your growth with confidence. Ryan, welcome back.
Yes, glad to be here and excited to dive into this today. This is one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, it's kind of fun a lot of times, the forecasting, as long as you feel like you're in a good spot, I suppose. But what is financial forecasting exactly? And more importantly, how does it differ just from budgeting?
Yeah, great questions to start us out. So financial forecasting is really looking towards the future, really building into the future and setting numbers that you're going to spend or bring in, could be revenue or expense side. And compared to budgeting, I think at times mentally can really be limiting for us, right? If we're saying, we're getting towards the fall here of 2025, if we're setting, kind of some budget numbers for 2026, and we're going to say, well, I'm going to budget to only spend $75,000 in marketing next year. It's kind of a limit number, right? It's a limited number that you don't want to go past. But really the problem with budgeting is by the time you've gone past it, it's too late, right?
Yeah.
You can't reel those dollars back in, right? Versus forecasting is, you're looking forward and it's okay to make changes to your forecast, right? If you're starting out, again, here fall 2025, and let's say, well, I'm forecasting to spend $75,000 in marketing next year. If you start going through next year and you're like, oh shoot, I'm really on pace to spend 90, that's okay, right? We're going to change our forecast, make changes appropriately, and then we understand how that impacts other numbers and what adjustments we need to make to the business to make that kind of overspend, if you will, over what your target was. Okay.
Do you feel like forecasting is especially important for law firms compared to other businesses?
I do believe forecasting is important for all businesses. Really looking where you're going, and really, it's not going to be exact. You're not going to be spot on, like 100% accurate. That's
right. Yeah.
Not how it works.
Hopefully you're wrong in a good way.
Yes, hopefully you're wrong in a good way. But if we can get it, if you're doing it on your own and you can get it 70, 80, 90% of the way there, that's certainly better than a lot of businesses that aren't forecasting. And if you're going to run into any kind of challenges, the better your forecast is, the further out, the sooner you know that you need to pivot and make changes. And so having the power to be able to do that and change what you're doing day to day, or maybe you need to make a big operational change without forecasting and really seeing where you're going, it's like driving a car with no windshield is really what it would be, right? Like if your windshield was blocked out, you couldn't see where you're going, all you had was a rearview mirror and side mirrors, that wouldn't go so well, right? But rearview mirror and side mirror is all what's happening behind you. That's like looking at your financials that happened in the past, right? Can't change what's in the past and what's behind you. And so I would say that financial forecasting is vitally important for all businesses and law firms included.
Is there certain data that you feel like companies need to really have a firm grasp on before they build that forecast?
Yeah. So you definitely have to know what you're spending and what's coming in on the revenue side. That's a great place to start. And then I also love business owners to throw in what they're paying down in debt as well. And distributions, debt and distributions. If you can have those four pieces, that's really going to cover the money that's going out, the large majority of it. And that you really have to have a handle on those, especially your fixed expenses, because those are going to be there, right? What you're paying in rent, phone bills, office subscriptions, softwares, bar dues, malpractice insurance, right? That list is pretty long. actually. I just rattled off a few things, but if you can have a handle on those, to start the year, like no matter what, if I'm going to be in business, I'm going to spend this, right? And it's basically non-negotiable. That's a great place to start.
Yeah. I have bar dues too. They're just a different kind of bar.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't we all? Don't we all? Every now and then.
A lot of people might hear this financial forecasting and think more bigger picture, which is fine. But can financials or forecasts support also like smaller growth decisions, whether it's like hiring staff or sort of like individual like smaller scale things that are part of the bigger picture?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, am I going to take on more office space?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you're in a building, maybe you have the opportunity to do that. Maybe part of a floor is coming up for lease, right? Yes, I mean, you're completely right. Being able to look at little decisions like that, it might not be a big spend. Maybe it's a couple $1,000s a month, 2 or 3,000, but being able to make those little decisions, absolutely, financial forecasting is going to help you with that for sure.
As far as cash flow, I mean, every business needs to manage cash flow. Very, very important, obviously. How does forecasting help you avoid those cash flow shortages?
Yeah, love it. So what I was talking about earlier, you get a handle on these are my fixed expenses, like no matter what I'm going to have. If you can get a hold on that, plus your debt that you're paying down, whatever that may be, maybe it's a EIDL loan from back during COVID, or other COVID loans, or maybe you have student loans that you're paying down. Those wouldn't really be on your business, but you can calculate that in there. And then you figure in what you're paying yourself, you're going to get to a number that's going out the door every single month at a minimum, right? You could, in these fixed expenses, you could also include what payroll level you've been at, right? So maybe every month it's, I've got a staff and every month it's $25,000 in payroll, right? You can add those expenses up and really know these are the dollars that's going out the door every single month, right? Then you can kind of back into, well, what do I need to make above and beyond that, right? To really be comfortable and have cash continue to be added to the bank account. And so forecasting and kind of looking forward, you'll be able to see like, oh, maybe I didn't sign enough cases this month, and that's going to affect revenue 2 or 3 months down the road, right? As we should have been bringing in more dollars and we're not going to be. What can I do to pivot, right? And so again, having a handle on what money's going out, what you need to bring in, and then forecasting forward based on, how your marketing and sales are doing is going to help you completely avoid any time where you're like, the business is out of cash, because you can see this is where we're going and this is where we're headed.
How often should you review your forecast updated? Is this a yearly thing, a quarterly thing? What do you usually recommend?
Yeah. So I think quarterly at a minimum, that would really be bare minimum for me. But then also, if something major changes in your business, maybe you have a lawyer that moves on, right? Maybe you bring on a new lawyer. Maybe you have a big client that really cuts back on the amount of work that they're doing with you. Anytime that you have a major change like that, that should trigger you to go back and really look at your financial forecast and really see how that's going to affect your numbers. And you could like, if you had an attorney that their last day was today, you could wait and do it like month end and do it like September 1st or, Labor Day weekend or whatever. But anytime a big event like that happens, that should trigger you to go, if it's not business as usual, go back to your financial forecast. And otherwise, at a bare minimum, look at it quarterly.
Depending on your area of practice, I mean, you can definitely, there's going to be ebbs and flows as far as caseload goes. You're going to have case cycles. There can be seasonal trends. If you're around the holidays, maybe some practices get slow. What can a firm do to factor these into their forecast?
Start by looking at your historical years. if you don't have any historical years, it does get a little bit more challenging. But if you've got historical years, it really helps to look at your money in or your revenue monthly, right? And really pick out like, okay, these 3 months were our largest months, right? Like you can, again, if you put all these in a spreadsheet or you have them on, like a profit and loss from your accountant, you've got the revenue row right at the top. You can kind of just go through there and pick out, okay, here's our 3 biggest months, and then pick out what are your 3 lowest, right? Those lowest ones are obviously the ones where you're going to be the tightest cash flow wise. And how do we plan for that? And how do we combat that, right? How do we work on fixing that? And like a great example is one of my clients does patents, a lot of big corporation patents. And so, when I first started working with him, he would sign a big client on, revenue would go way, way up, right? Then he was doing the work, revenue way, way, way down. Got the work done, signed the next client, way, way, way up, right? Then back down, right? And when they billed and when they came back to them for work was really kind of set up on an annual cycle. So we could clearly see like up month, down month, up month, down month, right? Like you could clearly see, and I'm like, okay, how are we going to fill these holes, right? Let's assume that these clients are coming back to you, and they were. We've got to get you clients in these months, right? Mm-hmm. You've got staff now. You've got to offload some of this work. And then we kind of just built out, on what day do you have to get a lead in the door in order to close them in April? Because that's one of your down months, right? And we just backed into it from there.
That's interesting.
But having, having your historicals, really, really important.
What about for newer firms? If you want to do a forecast and you're still growing, and maybe you're growing really well, so it's hard to forecast because of your growth. Is it just do you just have to look at the how much you grew in a certain amount of time and plan to keep growing, or what's the mindset there?
I think that's all. If you're really, really growing and really, really changing rapidly, you have all the more reason to look at this forecast more frequently, right? And there's probably some firms out there that it's reasonable to only forecast a quarter at a time, only forecast out 3 months, and really see the revenue trajectory that you're on, right? I would also say if you're just growing crazy, it's also okay to raise prices, slow down the number of clients that you are taking on, right? And again, you don't want to get yourself or you and your staff in a place where they can't handle all the work, right? Leads to bad client experience, bad reviews. You don't want to go down that road. So again, if you are in a rapidly changing environment where, growth is crazy, all the more reason to look at your forecast even more frequently and really have your hand on the pulse of what's going on.
Are there tools or even just reports from your accounting software that firm owners might want to really pay special attention to be able to create accurate forecasts?
Yeah. QuickBooks has a couple of like plug-in tools and things like that. If you search, financial forecasting, from my experience, I don't know that I don't have one that I would just recommend that say this one's great. They all have their flaws. It's not a perfect system. To me, I still think one of the best ways to forecast is just in Excel, right? And really take it out, put it in Excel. You have the columns there of months that have happened already, and just continue that forward, right? And build forward. And you can kind of look at the trend, see what you've been doing. Maybe it's, I've been growing 8%. Great, build that in. So yeah, there's not really a great tool, I would say, at this point that I could recommend, but they are out there.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a lot of them out there these days. I mean, it's funny too, because I feel like, to your point, Excel kind of gets a bad rap these days because everyone's like, oh, there's so many better ways to do it. But sometimes sometimes going back to that tried and true it's not such a bad thing. I mean, it's very versatile, and this isn't a plug for Microsoft, but it really is. Like, sometimes you just have to like step back and go, okay, I don't need the fancy new tool. Maybe I just do what is proven.
For sure. And it also kind of forces you a little bit to really look at the numbers.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are some softwares where it's like you click the button and you're like, just forecast 8% growth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Mathematically, the computer, does all the work, but is that really what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because again, if it's not at least somewhat on track, 70, 80% giving you the picture, what good is it doing?
Right. So as we wrap up here, there might be some firms listening that maybe are like, I really should probably do this forecasting thing. He's right. I should do this. Is there like a really like good first step, a good way to kick things off that sort of can get you set up for success in this?
Yeah. If you're working with a bookkeeper or an accountant, first step, I think first and foremost is ask them, what are my fixed set expenses? Getting a handle on those, like every month I pay my office rent, every month I have this subscription, every month I have this legal research bill, whatever it is, right? Getting a handle on what is that number, right? Could be 10,000, could be 20,000 plus, whatever it is. Getting a handle on that, I would say, is step one, because operationally that's just paying your bills and your business surviving, right? Step two is doing the same thing with debt. What are the loan payments I have to cover, right? Getting a good handle on that. Step three is your owner's distributions. You probably know those. If you don't know those and you have a rough ballpark number, put yourself a good goal number in there, right? Maybe you're currently distributing $10,000 a month. Maybe you want to step that up to 12 or 15, right? Build that into your forecast as well. If you don't budget for your own pay increase, no one else will, right? As the owner. So getting those three, first and foremost, great steps. Then I would say your revenue historically. And again, your accountant can probably help you with this, but where's your, what monies have you really brought in? What's your revenue been? Maybe over the last 12 months. And then it's really down to you to look at your kind of pipeline. What's your work in progress, right? How many leads do you have coming in the door? How many of those are taking consultations over the next couple of months? How many of those, or next couple of weeks, maybe? How many of those are you closing to new cases, and what is that worth, right? Because that's really going to build out your revenue forecast, right? And at that point, then you've got revenue, you've got your expenses, you've got your debt, you got your owner's draw. I mean, you can build a complete forecast out of that, right? And you can add in like, oh, I'm going to change this to my marketing, right? You as the owner know those things, right? Like, oh, I'm, picking up this, brand new ad or brand new billboard or whatever it is, whatever method you're using, right? I'm going to add that into my marketing line, right? And you add it in, and it changes your forecast, right? And you up it. I just put an offer out to a new associate today, right? And they've agreed to start, and starting September 15th, I've got $7,000 more in payroll a month, right? And, they're what have you, right? I don't know what that would be annually, $85,000 a year, something like that, right? Or what have you.
Sure.
Whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, doesn't matter. But again, I think your basic core foundational steps, fixed expenses, what are you paying down in debt? What are your distributions? And then your fixed expenses probably include payroll, right? What's going out there every month? And then you can get back into revenue and back into what's your kind of pipeline look like now and what's coming in the door in the next couple of months, 30, 60, 90 days.
All right. Well, great advice as always, Ryan. And thank you for watching the Legal CFO. If you're ready to get financial clarity for your law firm, visit netprofitcfo.com. Don't forget to like our videos, subscribe. We really appreciate it. Ryan, always great chatting with you. Thanks so much for being here with me.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.